Welcome to this explainer from the DigiPalms. We're jumping right in today because we are literally handing you the keys to the castle. We're going to walk you through our proprietary architectural blueprint for building true conversion machines. No fluff, no guesswork, just the exact system we use to engineer landing pages that consistently turn clicks into customers.
Now, we have to start with a pretty painful reality. You know the exact feeling. You pour hours, maybe even weeks, into design tweaks. You absolutely agonize over headline brainstorms. You finally launch the page, and then you just sit there refreshing your analytics dashboard. The traffic is flowing in steadily, which is great, but your conversion rates have completely flatlined. You're left wondering what mysterious ingredient you're missing. Why do so many beautifully designed pages completely fail to convert?
Well, here's the hard truth. We live by here at the DigiPalms. Random marketing hacks are absolutely useless. Clever copy tricks pulled from some viral thread on social media just won't save you. What actually transforms visitors into buyers isn't magic, it's a method. The most successful pages rely on proven frameworks that organize persuasion into highly predictable patterns. So you don't need more hacks. You need a structured, layered system. To build that system, we follow our 6-phase construction manual: anatomy of conversion, stacking on-page trust, the pain desire bridge, unboxing the irresistible offer, visual flow and microcopy, and finally, testing and iteration. Let's get to work. Phase 1, anatomy of conversion, specifically the hero promise. 50. That is the magic number. According to Google UX research, 50 milliseconds is exactly how much time you have before a user decides to stick around or bounce entirely. 50 milliseconds. It's literally a blink. In that tiny fraction of a second, their emotional brain, not their logical brain, is making a snap judgment. If you position yourself as the hero instead of the visitor, they are gone. So the absolutely crucial point is getting that hook right. At the DigiPalms, we use a 4-part fill-in-the-blank headline formula to craft an unmistakable hero promise. First, you call it exactly who it's for. Second, state exactly what they get. Third, embed a subtle reason to trust you. And fourth, keep the whole thing between 8 and 12 words. For example, instead of a weak, generic claim like improve your fitness, you want a highly specific one like lose 15 pounds in 6 weeks without giving up your favorite foods. It's specific, it's targeted, and it paints a vivid mental picture instantly.
All right, moving right along to phase 2, stacking on-page trust and dismantling objections.
We use what we call the trust-building pyramid. We aren't just scattering random testimonials around and hoping for the best. We are strategically layering trust. We start right at the base with visual signals, things like recognizable client logos right under the hero section to create a frictionless visual handshake. Then, as the user scrolls, we layer in human stories, highly relatable testimonials. Next up comes quantitative proof, the hard data and the actual success metrics. And finally, at the peak, right by the buy button, we place risk reversal, ironclad guarantees. We systematically dismantle their objections in the exact order they experience them. And when we talk about those human stories, specificity is absolutely everything. Think about the difference here. Saying, "Oh, I just love this product," well, it's weak. It means absolutely nothing to a skeptical buyer. But our engagement jumped 32% in just 3 weeks. Now that is strong. At the DigiPalms, we insist on hyper-specific, measurable human stories. You need to show the starting point, the specific challenge they faced, and the concrete outcome. That brings us to phase 3, the pain desire bridge, the emotional engine of your page. You have to make their problem feel completely unignorable, and we do that using voice of customer, or VOC data. Never use generic marketing speak like, struggling with marketing? No one talks like that. Instead, mirror their exact painful reality using their own words, like spending $3,000 monthly on ads with 0 qualified leads. When you use the exact phrases your paying customers gave you before they bought, you create instant, visceral recognition. We synthesize all that VOC data into what we call an empathy snapshot. Basically, it's a 1 to 2 sentence description of your prospect's current reality that sits right after your initial credibility signals. It functions as a verbal mirror. By articulating their problem with such precision that they feel truly seen, you're making the pain unignorable. And by perfectly framing the problem, your eventual offer is going to feel like the absolute inevitable next step. Okay, phase 4, unboxing the irresistible offer, where we stage the solution.
To eliminate hesitation here, we lean on the conversion strategy pyramid. We start at the base with low-friction micro-commitments, like a 7-day test drive without a credit card. Then we stack authentic urgency and real scarcity. No fake countdown timers, just true constraints. Finally, we cap the whole thing with guarantees. We want to reduce perceived risk so effectively that saying yes actually becomes the path of least resistance. Now, to make that offer truly irresistible, you need 4 essentials clearly defined: the core result, meaning the big change they get; the unique process, your special mechanism for delivering it; the experience, what it actually feels like to work with you; and the proof. And remember this golden rule of the blueprint: always present your full value stack, translating every single feature into a tangible benefit before you ever reveal the price. Now for Phase 5. Visual flow and microcopy. We call this the architecture of attention. Because you aren't just throwing text on a screen, you're engineering where people look. By aligning your most persuasive elements along natural visual scanning paths, like the F pattern for text-heavy sections, the Z pattern for visual breaks, or the Gutenberg diagram, you're basically leveraging how the human brain naturally consumes information. And surround those key elements with generous white space. White space is an empty space, it's a spotlight, and it can actually increase comprehension by up to 20%. But while visual flow guides the eye, your microcopy guides the mind. Microcopy is that tiny text near decision points. Let's look at a brilliant example, normally placed right next to a form field. Takes 19 seconds to complete. In just one sentence, it anticipates user anxiety and completely dispels the friction of a time commitment. When you anticipate objections at the exact moment of decision, you convert a passive scanner into an active clicker. And finally, Phase 6, testing and continuous iteration, the continuous optimization phase. You absolutely have to build a conversion baseline before you change a single pixel. Think about it. If a user hits the 50% scroll mark midway through your content, it tells you your pain desire bridge is actually engaging them. If they hover over a call to action button but don't click, well, that reveals an interest versus commitment issue. Maybe your microcopy needs some work. You map these metrics directly to psychological failures on the page. Once you've got that baseline, you enter our 5-step lean testing loop. You hypothesize based on data, you set it up meticulously, and this is critical. You run the test to a 95% statistical significance. Do not act on random noise or early trends. Analyze the deep qualitative insights, implement the winner, and log it. This systematic habit right here is what turns minor tweaks into compounding, massive revenue growth over time. Which brings us to the end of the blueprint. By applying these layers, from that crucial 50-millisecond hero promise all the way to the final testing loop, you stop guessing and you start engineering. Your landing page is no longer just a static brochure, it's a dynamic, self-improving laboratory. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Armed with the DigiPalm's blueprint, what will your very next experiment reveal about your customers? Get out there and start building your conversion machine.